Hey y'all, it's Jan of the Jan Files. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so and hit the notify button. It's important because the reality is that lots of things, there's censorship in Twitter, there's censorship in TikTok. I'm not sure where it is in YouTube or Blue Sky, but I'm going to tell you that if you really want to continue to see what I'm doing and others, not just me, you really need to subscribe and be notified, because otherwise we're going to go away. They're going to figure out whatever rules and regulations that you're doing something against, and bye bye. The other day on Blue Sky, I was suspended out of nowhere. I'm like, no warning, no nothing. I was suspended. I was like, what the fuck? And like, because I don't tell lies, I have, everything I say is either my opinion, which I make sure I say, or is factual. And the reality is, I was suspended. I asked why. They never sent me an email. They never sent me an email that said, hey, this is why you're suspended. And I kept saying, send me something, please. And they didn't. And then, but they did unsuspend me, right? The same day, but without any explanation. So I'm only going to tell you this, and I'm not going to constantly repeat this because it is what it is. You need to make sure you're following me. You're following me here. I sort of have a Substack that I haven't done anything to yet. I will make that bigger. But you need to make sure that you are following people, not just me, people that you like to hear from and react, to make sure we're still here. Because this is probably more important than almost anything that we're talking about right now. Without free press, without, whatever you want to call me, free commentary, whatever, we have nothing. The foundation of this country, and the fact that the First Amendment, the freedom to speech, leads the way, means that's the first thing they're attacking. So don't ever lose sight of that. Okay? So today I'm going to talk about RFK Jr., who is destroying this country on a whole different level. I mean, what he does is in concert with what Trump is doing. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is a profound liar. There's something, I believe, in my mind, there's something really fucking wrong with this dude, whether it was the heroin that did it or whatever his experiences with his, the assassination of his father. I don't, it is what it is, right? But no matter what has happened to you, it doesn't mean that you have the right to do to this country what RFK is doing. And so I'm going to start off, and I'm going to try to get through this relatively quickly. I'm going to talk about some of the things he said, and then I'm going to talk about what he has done. Okay? Overall, and then more specifically with cancer research. So let's talk about what he said. Now, I have, done my homework, and I haven't included every fucking comment he's ever made that makes no sense. But I've got a couple of the really substantial ones that people should pay attention to, and as always, talk about. So let's start, and I'm going to be reading, and it may be a little rocky, so bear with me. So I'm just going to quote him and then maybe have a little response depending on what the quote is. There's no vaccine that is, safe and effective. So let me repeat that. There's no vaccine that is safe and effective, according to RFK Jr. He said it on Lex Friedman podcast 2023. He denied saying that he said that. There is a recording. he's a fucking liar. Okay? At the confirmation hearing where he denied having said that, he said, I am pro-safety. All my kids are vaccinated. I believe vaccines have a critical role in healthcare. Did he forget that he said there is no vaccine that you know is safe and effective? So he felt none of these vaccines were safe and effective for his kids, but he gave them to them anyway. About the COVID vaccine, he said it's the deadliest vaccine ever made in December of 2021. He has subsequently, since he's become in this position, canceled $500 million in mRNA vaccine development contracts, calling the vaccines ineffective, which what the COVID vaccine was, right? The same technology that he's saying is ineffective won the 2023 Nobel Prize, and now is used to being developed as a personalized cancer treatment. He said the deadliest vaccine ever fucking made. Then he said about black people and vaccines. We should not be giving black people the same vaccine schedule that's given to whites because their immune system is better than ours. There is zero evidence of that. Zero. This is purely fucking racist to its core. This motherfucker is a racist asshole. Do not see him any other way. Whatever that benefit that he has gotten from the Kennedy name should be tossed aside, stamped on, trampled on, tore up, because his family wants nothing to do with him. He literally said something so fucking racially insensitive and whatever is grotesque. He is grotesque, as is his wife, by the way, Cheryl Hines, who just sits there, twiddles her thumb, and loves being ignored by Trump. Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi radiation does all kinds of bad things, including causing cancer. Wi-Fi radiation opens up your blood-brain barrier. Blood-brain barrier. There is no such fucking thing. When asked to explain how, he replied, now you're going beyond my expertise. Antidepressants and school shootings. There's no time in American history or human history that kids were going to shoot schools and they shoot their classmates. It really started happening, I'm not sure about this word, and I should have looked it up before I'd spoken to you, but whatever. Coterminous, I would say continuously, with the introduction of these drugs like Prozac. He said that to Elon Musk in 2023. He denied then having said it. There is zero correlation, causation. There's nothing in any kind of research that equivocates. I'm not sure that's the right way I want to use that. But anyway, that shows that that is the case. It's not, it's a fucking lie, which he does all the fucking time. Pesticides and transgender children. Said in a 2023 podcast that chemical exposures are probably behind a lot of sexual dysphoria that we are seeing in children. Sexual dysphoria is not a medical term. He just made it up. Vaccines and the Holocaust. They get shot. That night they have a fever of 103. You're talking about getting a vaccine shot, right? They go to sleep, and 3 months later, their brain is gone. This is the Holocaust, what this is doing to our country. Robert Kennedy said that in 2015. Think about that. He runs our public health and he is a lying monster. The FDA has an interest in mass poisoning the American public. So that's that. He said that, and now he oversees the FDA, saying they have an interest in mass poisoning us. And on cutting science, he said we're not cutting science in November of 2025. PolitiFact rates that pants on fire. This man is a monster. A monster. He has no morality. He has no integrity. He lies and lies and lies and lies to Congress, to the House, to the Senate. It doesn't, and to the American people. He is a fucking liar. He's nothing more than that. He is not remotely qualified to be in this position. Not remotely. And not because he's not a doctor or whatever that people want to claim. He's not remotely qualified because he can't figure out truth and fact from fiction. He's willing to kill children if his policies don't protect them. Look at what's happening with measles. Measles, we are in a no man's land. We are, we were actually, quote, considered elimination of measles back in the early 2000s or 2012, around there. We were considered that the United States had eliminated measles. Not any longer. We've had 2 children, this in 2025, die of measles. The rate of measles infections is gone through the roof. It's continuing to go on through the roof. We will probably hit more kids, more people that were infected by measles in 2026 than 2025, because we're already halfway there. Hey, it's just kids, right? No big deal. And so let's talk about the overall change. And I'm trying to get this in as quickly as I can, but I don't want to just run through it. So maybe you listen and come back, but I think there's a lot of really interesting, valuable facts to be able to share. And that's why I'm reading a lot of this, because I want it to be factual. I don't want it just me going off like I'm doing right now. So anyway, let's get going. When he first took office, he fired all 17 legitimate members of the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices. He fired them all. Now, this has been a bipartisan committee. This isn't about Republicans and Democrats. It's about the science. It's about looking at vaccines, what works, what doesn't work, what we're going to take, this step on, what we're not going to take. This has always been a very highly professional group that has done the right thing by Americans. Now, he fired all of them, put 7 people in place that are vaccine skeptics, and put a couple of groups in who are not, quote, non-voting, but they are of the same mindset that they want they don't believe in the efficacy of vaccines. This is crazy making. This is crazy shit, folks. This is not a difference of opinion, which I keep hearing from assholes. It is not. It's not paying attention to the science, period. So what else did he do? He, when he created this new group, instead of focusing on the risks and benefits of vaccines, all he is doing is focusing on the risks, because that's his story. That's his narrative that he has been telling for decades now, that vaccines are bad, they're evil, you shouldn't be doing them. And people are listening to him. They're listening to him, and children are not getting vaccinated, Jesus, because of this asshole. My children are vaccinated, and they are continuing to be vaccinated, and that's, well, I will do going forward because I believe in science. And what else he did? So let me just I'm going to try to read through these. Rewrote the ACIP charter to focus on vaccine risks rather than balance of risks and benefits. That ACIP charter is what I told you, the group that he took out. He fired all 17 that were legitimate bipartisan scientists, and he put in 7 who are anti-skeptics. It's the acronym for Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices. Okay? All of those meetings now are held behind closed doors. And everything that he tried to do here, when I tell you that he fired these people, that has all been said, nope, by a court. What happens as, how this falls out in terms of whether the court succeeds, whether they succeed, and I don't know, but just an FYI. So he also removed COVID-19 vaccine recommendation for children and pregnant women, removed hepatitis B birth dose in December 2025, a vaccine that is 90% effective when given within 24 hours of birth. He stripped 7 vaccines of routine recommended status in January 2026, including rotavirus, meningitis, hepatitis A, hepatitis B, flu, COVID, and RSV. And all those decisions were passed by that advisory group that I told you about. There used to be 17, there are 7, they're anti-skeptic, they're skeptics of vaccinations. The 17 professional scientists are gone, and he didn't even bother to run it by the group that he has now appointed. Whatever. We all know the measles catastrophe. We all know that we're no longer a country that is, no longer has measles. Thank you, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. We are now into the kids dying stage and kids getting it, and likely more kids and other people dying because of the consequences of lack of vaccine. There are so many things that he has done health-wise, but I don't think there's probably one area that he's done more harm to than cancer research. He has, all by himself with his pen as head of HHS, cut about, let me make this as clear, 2 billion losses to the NCI, which is the National Cancer Institute. That is, he's cut 2 billion. And so we could go into all the details of that, but I'm just going to tell you some of the things that he's cut. Okay, because I think that's where it lands, right? Strategy, he's killed these programs. Strategies to reduce cancer and chronic disease in the Arkansas Delta. Selective targeting of pancreatic cancer. My mother died of pancreatic cancer, and all I've got to say is to anybody who would cancel any funds for any kind of cancer should go fuck themselves. Automated digital imaging for cervical cancer screening. Breast cancer research at these are programs that were canceled. Michigan universities. Colorectal cancer trials in Massachusetts. Skin cancer screening. mRNA cancer vaccine research. $500 million cut. He did all this, all with his own pen. Little fucking Robert fucking Kennedy Jr. canceled all of these. So you get it? HIV cancer intersection research. Now, you know how we choose to cut these programs? by what measure he used? He cut it by keyword. Stupid motherfucker. Any grant containing disparity, equity, gender, or mRNA was canceled. No peer review, no scientific evaluation, no process what the fuck so ever. And pancreatic cancer, cervical cancer, skin cancer detection, all gone because they contain the wrong word. The damage to all kinds of health care is beyond what any of us understand. And it's really time, in addition to all the other fucking things to talk about this one. Because I think on so many levels, this is very personal for people. And I think it's really time to start making it more personal. Let's talk about, pancreatic cancer, right? Let's talk about, prescriptions for depression and how they save lives. Let's talk about all, skin cancer, all the kinds of cancers, pediatric cancer, that are not getting the funds they need to continue to do the amazing work they have. And that's what we really need to understand. Yes, big pharma makes a lot of money. I'm not here to defend that. But in the United States, we are so responsible for so many medical innovations, and in terms of drugs, in terms of treatments, in terms of, protocols, in terms of equipment. A lot of that comes from us being the United States. It's something we have done really well. Now, we have a problem, obviously, in how that translates into prescriptions and the amount, et cetera, et cetera. We have a problem in our entire healthcare system. And when I hope, I don't want to promise things because I keep promising things and then a day goes by and I can't get it done. But I want to also make sure you're aware of how health insurance has, where it started in this country and where we are right now. And there are a lot of players within this that have created this disaster. And besides the insurance companies, it's also the AMA, it's doctors. And so, and it's all those people that participate in the monetization of healthcare. And that has to stop. It just has to stop. We need a single payer. I want to tell you to look at Taiwan, because it seems that Taiwan has a kind of a good system after looking at everybody else's. And there are lots of lies that are out there about the wait for Canadian healthcare. Bullshit. I mean, trust me, I know what I weigh here. And so anyway, folks, Robert Kennedy should not be, not to say always again, you're not ignoring him. It's just like, how the fuck do you figure out what to do and focus on today? I get it. But this is a big one. And I think also this is a big one in terms of the midterms. And I think we really, really need to hone in on it, hone in on medical care, hone on prescription drugs, and on absolutely RFK and Trump and their fucked up lack of concern for humanity and lack of concern for American lives. Period. So, till the next time, folks, stay safe, find your joy, and make sure you have the facts. Thanks.